having all of you toss a penny. I just tried to wing it, which I do apologize for. You are the good guys. I want to emphasize that. Part of what I've been trying to communicate with you is I have dealt with the community and taught and tried to push some bullying things through at a school in Rapid City, South Dakota, and discovered, much to my amazement, that there was a communication problem. I don't know how to explain it other than to say that it seems to take longer to explain things than it should. And I think part of the problem is we're literally facing the wrong direction. It's not a matter of targeting bullying kids or targeting teachers that are bullying or administrators that aren't doing their jobs. What we're dealing with is we need to target the culture of bullying at the schools. And we need to model the behavior we want them to learn. And we need to not have them be punished. School is not a place for punishment, it's a place for learning. In fact, in your own documents, it says in regard to discipline of teachers at least, and administrators, that it is supposed to be for the purpose of, it doesn't use the word education, I think the word is correction. Well, we need to have that attitude with our students. If a student is bullying, I've never seen a happy kid that bullies. One of the young men who was involved in this bullying incident that you just discussed with Mrs. Brown made the national news. We're in the national news all the time. What was it, the Broward Cops show or something like that? You know, these kids aren't happy. They're screaming for help and we're not able to respond. And I did contact you at one time and I used some metaphors. To give you an example of how difficult this is, the metaphors literally seem to be not understood, and there's a reason for that. And it gets worse every year. And everyone knows what to do and kind of feels something is wrong. No one feels empowered to take action. My reason for using the harsh language earlier, kids on fire, was not, because I know you know metaphors, and yet you did bring in, you know, the next meeting, by odd coincidence, a fire marshal to receive an award. When I used the metaphor of, you know, I wanted to provide you with a large stick so you could use it to bring some of these motions through. When I've spoken with Mrs. Brown, she likes lots of the people she deals with and wants to see change happen, but she's afraid of speaking for that change because she doesn't want to intrude on what she views as good versus bad people. There are no good versus bad people. It's not about individuals. A good person, if they see someone making a bunch of noise, will say, good, I wanted to do something about that anyway. I'm going to use that person making noise to accomplish something. That is what I meant by a big stick. You just meant the big stick. Nothing personal, Monica. But that's a metaphor. These are simple changes. I would like to see the school board right now, right here, if it's not an emergency, if people don't use the word emergency, if the 1 out of 5 statistic isn't enough to frighten the pants off of everyone. Newsflash, our statistics are worse than the national average. It's not 1 out of 5 kids in crisis in Broward schools, and we all know that. So in a committee, I know it's difficult, and I hate to look at you, Mr. Superintendent, but you know, it's harder for them to stand up as individuals. I think someone needs to say, this is an emergency. Maybe you are or aren't worse than other schools, but unless you state it as an emergency, it's not that you aren't doing wonderful things with Motorola and other things. This does not detract from that.
Okay, Michael, your 3 minutes is absolutely right.
I appreciate that. I will wrap up real quickly, because the next thing after you face the word that the fact there's an emergency is we need to do triage and find out where, what, you know, not who and how, okay, but we need to target the culture. In other words, it's the concept that you can have 1,000 kids put into a building with 100 adults, and you train those adults, and most of them think it's illegal. And I do want to mention this. What is it? FERPA does not say that it's illegal to anonymously poll and come up with real hard numbers on individual schools, and what the numbers are. In other words, which schools have a culture of bullying? Which schools have a culture within the education? Because it can be teachers and administrators that have that bullying attitude as well. Which schools are those? We can know that. There is no law against teachers anonymously polling their students, and that was what I was talking about previously with the coin toss polling. I've had 15,000 hits, mostly here in South Florida, and I know you're having a bullying meeting coming up next week. I know you met with the governor just a few weeks ago up in Boca High. I doubt this is being discussed as an emergency basis. Okay, I would like to see one of you now, today, be willing to say it's an emergency, and you will be called upon to do this again. I realize it's a scary, frightening thing to take a step like that, But I'm asking you right now, and I'm aware of the rules as to
Okay,
you can't
so
respond,
your
but
time-
I also am aware that you can do anything you want if you wish. So I am asking you officially, for any one of you or all of you together, say, yeah, this is an emergency, we're going to deal with it, we're going to reach out to people such as myself and Monica and find
Okay, I'm
solutions.
going to cut you off, sir.
Thank you, I
And
understand.
realize also that we do not make any public response to any presentations at this time.
If the child is on fire in front of you,
We
you
do
should
not
yell.
make any
I apologize.
public
for
response
interrupting.
at this time, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Mr. Khan, are we ready to proceed?
I don't know that Mr. Soto is here just yet, but